Good afternoon, ladies, gents and Pikachus. Welcome back to another analysis and breakdown of the Quran of the Muslims. Yes, once again we'll be breaking this thing down verse by verse into factual, logical statements in English so we can understand who or what is Allah, what does he mean by this book, and more importantly for us, dear non-believers, how is this going to affect us in our lives today? So as I do every day, I'm going to tell you now, if you have any doubts to my factual accuracy or any of the things I'm about to say, please first buy and read one of these. After having done so, you will recognise everything that I'm going to say to you now or have previously said is 100% factual to what Allah says in his book and what Muslims believe today. So, if you've been keeping up with the series and you saw the last one, you will remember that we are 4 or 5 pages into the second Surah Al-Imran, who is a prophet of Islam, but we haven't met him yet. So far we have just heard Allah extolling the virtues of Islam, and the virtues of Islam are if you follow it you won't be killed and die horribly, and also what you will have to do is go over there and kill all those horrible non-believers who are evil and bad. And then he threw some extra shade on the Jews, the Christians and their religions and said that they are all false, and the end result of the last episode was everything you do in your life plus your life itself is a great sin in the eyes of Allah, because the only thing in life, and this is absolutely true of Allah's word, the only thing in life that is not a great sin is this book, and you, if you absolutely obey and follow every word of it. So with that in mind, let's get started. 35. Behold, Imran commanded his wife in Allah's ways. O Lord, I dedicate to thee that which her belly does produce, into thy service to advance your holy jihad. Accept thy offsprings as offerings in thy wisdom and power. End of verse. So you can, this is going to be great. You can tell straight away where this is going to go. Behold, Imran is saying this to his wife and everyone who is reading, i.e. you and I now in the current day. Imran being a prophet of Islam, almost as significant to their cause as Prophet Muhammad, but not quite as much. He is one of the tribal leaders. His family became the original Muslims. That's what we're told by Allah. So Imran is there, his wife is there, there's some other people there. Imran goes, behold! And then he commands his wife into Allah's ways, which means Allah's wife in Allah's ways she is a plant pot with no value past growing babies to join his holy jihad and kill the Jews and Christians. And that is why he says, as he commands his wife in Allah's ways, and I quote, O Lord, I dedicate to thee that which her belly does produce. So what Imran is saying here, he's not saying this because he's saying it to his wife. His wife is a prop on the stage of Allah's holy jihad. He's saying to you and I, who's reading this book, this is what Imran, the great and powerful, important prophet of Islam, i.e. this is a guy you want to be like. This is what he did and what you should do. O Lord, I dedicate to thee that which is in her belly, which her belly does produce, her babies. I dedicate those to you, Allah, into thy service to advance your holy jihad. So he's literally saying here, she is the plant pot, she is not important, only Allah's plan for her makes her important. The babies in her belly, by the way, they're not actually in her belly, they're in her womb, but in the previous episodes we found out Allah plants babies in the bowel, and that's where he shapes them as his will dictates. So that's what he thinks. We know they don't grow there, they grow in the womb, but we're going to stick to what he said, and it's a quote. And the quote is that they are in the belly. So he dedicates, Imran's dedicating his wife's womb to Allah's cause and the produce that the womb creates, the babies, into thy service to advance the holy jihad. And as we know, the holy jihad is the service towards the end times genocidal prophecy, which means everyone has to fucking die, all the men lay headless, all the women are slaves, and that means good, O Muslim, you've done your job well, and Allah is the winner. That was his prophecy, by the way. That's what he believes is going to happen by his Muslims killing us all. That's how that works. And then he finishes off by saying, accept thy offsprings as offerings in thy wisdom and power. So Imran is saying to Allah, have my wife's womb and the babies that come out of it for your military mission against everyone else on earth, your holy jihad. Accept them as offerings. That's literally what he says. Accept thy offerings, accept thy offsprings as offerings. So this man Imran Not only is he willing to give his wife's womb away to Allah in the service of his holy war, he's giving the babies away before they're even formed and born. And the reason he's doing that is an offering to Allah's wisdom and power. And why he's saying wisdom and power here, ladies, gents and Pikachus, is because Imran wants you, the reader, and me, who's reading the Holy Quran, he wants us to think Allah's Holy Jihad is a really wise move, and he has enough power to make it happen without any doubts. That's why this is saying wisdom and power, and why Imran is commanding his wife in the ways of Allah to have lots and lots and lots of babies by him to go and kill the fucking Jews with. That's what this means. 36. But did she produce a daughter by Satan's evil and madness? And she cried out, O my Lord, such evil hath my belly given. Please show mercy and deliver us from this terrible misfortune. But Allah knew best what she had done, and did show mercy for them. She is not as a male child's worth. For my deliverance of you she shall be fruitful to her husband in thy service. I have named this one Mary, and commended her into my service. Though she is rejected from righteous work, her many offspring shall be protected from calamity. End of verse. So a longer verse this time, but I feel like this is giving us the down and dirty of what Allah actually thinks of women, and actually what he thinks of everyone who follows him, his worshippers. So he starts off by saying, Imran, in the last verse, promised his wife's belly, her womb effectively, and the babies to Allah's Holy Jihad. That's why they're having the babies, for the jihad. But she did produce a daughter by Satan's evil and madness. So actually, she wanted to have sons to go and kill the Jews. But even though Allah makes everything happen, and Allah wants babies to go and kill the Jews with, she only goes and has a daughter. I mean, what the fuck is she playing at? How dare she have a daughter? But she did produce a daughter by Satan's evil and madness. That is what Allah is saying. By Satan's evil and madness, she produced a daughter. Now, may I remind you, the only reason that she was impregnated at all is because Allah has commanded her to, and Imran to impregnate her, and that is what the first line tells us. Imran commanded his wife in Allah's ways to get pregnant, have a baby, and when she has a baby and it's a daughter, it's by Satan's evil and madness that that daughter exists, in Allah's own words. So Allah, between the lines, is kind of saying it was his fault that she had a daughter. That was his evil and madness that caused that. And because of that, she felt so terribly bad that her son was born as a woman, if you like. She didn't want to have a daughter, but she's got one now. She cried out, O my Lord, such evil thy belly hath given. Please show mercy and deliver us from this terrible misfortune. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. 50% of babies born, roundabout, are daughters. If you think it's a terrible misfortune caused by evil and madness of Satan that you had a daughter, there's something very wrong inside your culture, and that's what I'm trying to tell you here. Allah is dictating this to us. His most important prophets are doing this. Imran is like prophet number 2 of importance. He commanded his wife to be a plant pot, have babies, which she has done. What has she done wrong? Nothing. She's done exactly what she's been ordered to do, despite she probably didn't want to. She had no say in the matter. She has faithfully and loyally followed Allah's command as her husband told her to. So she should be rewarded for this, surely, but no, she's not rewarded. She produces a daughter by Satan's evil and madness. So she's now evil and mad, and her daughter's the product of evil and mad. And because they are evil and mad women of Islam, she cries out, O my Lord, such evil my belly hath given. So she thinks her daughter is evil. Understand that. She has just had a baby, which she was commanded to have, and the first thing she says about this baby is, it's evil. That's Islam. Woe betide Islamic mothers if they have daughters, and woe betide these poor daughters. But anyway, we'll carry on. O my Lord, such evil thy belly has given. Please show mercy and deliver us from this terrible misfortune of having a daughter. So Allah says, but Allah knew best what she had done. Like, she didn't do anything. Allah's saying he knew best what she had done. Like, she did it on purpose because she's evil. She had no say in the matter. She didn't even want to get pregnant. Imran made her get pregnant because Allah commanded him to, and commanded her to be nothing but a plant pot for the seed. She did that. But anyway, she's evil. Allah knows what she has done, and did show mercy on her, even though she's a bad, evil sinner who has only daughters. That fucking piece of shit. That's what this says. Even though she's a piece of shit who only has daughters, Allah is going to show mercy on her. And then he speaks to her. This is how Allah shows his mercy to poor old Imran's wife and daughter. Allah says, "She is not as a male child's worth. For my deliverance of you shall be for her to be fruitful in thy service of her husband." You get that? Even though she's evil and bad, Allah's going to take mercy upon her, and that mercy comes in the form of her having more babies. So she's literally just popped out her daughter, been commanded that she's evil. Satan made that a daughter, not a son. She's literally a day old, this baby. And already Allah is saying, I'll have mercy on you only if you have more and more and more and more babies. She literally hasn't even got the baby out of the womb 5 minutes ago. And Allah's already telling her, you need to have more babies. Otherwise, you won't get my mercy. You'll continue to be sinful, evil and filthy. And by all accounts, you will be punished and then die. That's what this means. He carries on. She is not a male child's worth, for my deliverance of you shall be fruitful to your husband in thy service. I have named this one Mary. So he's telling her that she has to call her daughter Mary. Allah is commanding her, call your daughter Mary. That's what I'm telling you to do it. So she does. And then commended her into thy service. So not only, this is so ridiculous, not only is Imran and his wife slaves of Allah, making babies on command who are evil because they're not men, the daughter who is 1 day old has now been commended into Allah's service as well. So that means Allah has picked out this poor evil daughter and said, even though you're not a man, you can't kill Jews, so you're evil, bad and filthy, I'm going to take mercy on you and commend you into my service as I did your mother. And the between the lines bit is, you're going to get the same mercy as your mother. You're going to have to make babies for me, oh Mary. Otherwise you'll die in sin and pain and everyone will fucking hate you. That's what this means. So after he says that she's going to be called Mary, and commends Mary, the child who is 1 day old, into thine service, though she is rejected from righteous work, her many offspring shall be protected from calamity. End quote. So Allah, if we break this down, what Allah is saying here is, she's born evil. There's nothing we can do about that. Satan's made her evil through his madness, even though Allah is Satan, so it was his fault. And he did actually say, everyone who is created because of him. He plans all babies and puts them in the bowel. That's what he said, in the womb, really. So Allah directly takes responsibility for creating this poor daughter by forcing his people to procreate in this way. But then as soon as the baby's born, he punishes it and says, you're evil. You have to be my slave, commended into my service forever. And the thing you have to do forever until you die is have more babies, more babies, more babies. Even though you're 1 day old. You haven't even done anything yet. You literally popped out, umbilical cord cut. You're commended into my service. My Holy Jihad needs you to mass produce factory babies to kill the fucking Jews with. That's what this means. And then that last bit, though she is rejected from righteous work, so she's fucking useless because she cannot carry a sword and kill the Jews and Christians like my Holy Jihad demands, her many offspring shall be protected from calamity. So what that means is her many offspring hopefully will all be sons, and when they're off killing the Jews and Christians, Allah will protect them from calamity. Like the calamity of only having daughters, that evil. That's what this means. Even though it's unbelievable that in this day and age we accepted this into our country and didn't just throw it out on the first day. Clearly nobody actually fucking read this when they accepted it. But now that we know, because we are reading it, we can be the ones to bring the truth of this evil book to the people. That's what we're doing here. So I'll continue. 37. Graciously did her Lord accept her, granting her beauty and loyalty. And was she made a gift in marriage to Zachariah. Allah told him, lay with her every night until she gives signs of her pregnancy. And she said, Allah does provide sustenance without measure to him who pleases Allah. End of verse. Now, if we break this down, this just gets so much worse as we read on. So we're now talking about the daughter Mary, who is 1 day old, right? She's literally 1 day old. Graciously did her Lord accept her, even though she was an evil baby who can't carry a sword and kill Jews. She's evil, but the mercy of Allah is upon her, so he has blessed her with a future of having lots and lots and lots of babies. And in order for that to happen, he's granted her beauty and loyalty and given her as a gift in marriage to a man called Zachariah. So this is the first instance of an arranged marriage in the Quran of the Muslims from Zachariah, the old man, who is like mid-40s, my age, to a 1-day-old baby. We know because it says that. She's literally been born. He calls her Mary, says, you're a horrible, cursed, evil lady, a daughter. But anyway, I'll put mercy upon you, and I'll make you useful, even though you're fucking useless and you can't kill Jews. I'll make you usable by making you a production factory line of men who are useful. So you will be the one that makes all the men that go and do the Holy Jihad, while you're sat at home making more of us. That's how this goes. Even though she's 1 day old, graciously did her Lord accept her, granting her beauty and loyalty despite the fact that she's a fucking newborn. And was she made a gift in marriage to Zechariah. So he's literally like, here you go, here's a gift property that you could have. Use this property to make babies for me and my Holy Jihad, says Allah. Allah told him, lay with her every night until she gives signs of her pregnancy. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. This is exactly what Muhammad the Prophet did. He said, I had a dream about a baby, which is you, Aisha, while she was swaddled in the cotton of her mother's arms. He married her and waited until she was literally old enough and big enough to survive being laid on. Then he was sleeping with her all the time to try and get sons out of her. Even though she was 6 when this happened, or 9, either 6 or 9, it doesn't matter. She was a child. Allah is instructing his Muslims explicitly here by saying this guy Imran, who basically is the second most important person past Muhammad, this is what he did. He is like the purest, most greatest guy apart from Muhammad. So if he did this, Muslims, you should be trying to do this. This is the ideal situation for you, O Muslims, to command your wives to get pregnant constantly, to have sons to fight the Holy Jihad. But if you are unfortunate enough to have an evil, sinful, filthy daughter who God doesn't like, ask him to bless her with the ability to produce more sons, and then immediately give her away as a gift to another man as a wife, despite the fact that she is 1 day old. That's what this explicitly says. And then the last bit is, lie with her every night until she gives signs of pregnancy, then don't. And she said, the mother said, Allah does provide sustenance without measure to whom he pleases. So this is meant to sound like the mother of Mary is going, oh great, well done Allah, I really appreciate that you've done that to me, thanks a lot. That's how we're supposed to think. But actually, having read the Arabic one, what I actually think is happening here is the wife is saying Allah does provide sustenance, as in the continuation of Islam. Allah does provide that, not her. So she doesn't realise that it's her. You know, she's the one who grows the babies. Allah can't grow babies without her. But Allah has brainwashed her to think she's worthless unless she does that. So she is saying Allah does provide sustenance without measure. So we can have endless babies, and give them to whom he pleases. So the mother literally thinks her and her babies are property. They don't feel like they are human beings. They are just gifts for men. That's explicitly what this means. That's what this is. This is Allah making sure the men know, treat your women like property. They are production lines for babies. The men have rights because they can go and kill Jews, so we'll use them. The women not so much, but I mean, keep them at home. You know, they're like plant pots. Keep them in the garden. Plant your seed in them every night until they give you more babies. If you have women, they stay at home. But hopefully you'll have sons. And the mother is confirming this by saying Allah doth provide sustenance without measure to whom pleases him. So this is all in the service of Allah. This whole family are enslaved to Allah through this Quran. And if they don't do this exact thing, it's a great sin. That's what this says. Anyway, we'll carry on. We get to the last verse, 38. Seeing did Zechariah pray to his Lord, O Lord, now grant unto me many sons which will become pure in worship and fierce in battle, for thou art he that heareth prayers to answer. Allah was to build his sons as warriors. End of verse, end of reading. So, what do we think about this one, ladies, gents and Pikachus? Well, in consideration of we've just gone through the threats that they're going to, you know, the things they're going to do to everyone else, i.e. me and you, the Muslims are going to come and kill us, and we know that they have to be sneaky and lie and trick us in order that that will happen, because there's not enough of them. Allah's working on it. He's going to make sure there's enough of them. Babies, babies, babies. Even if your daughters are 1 day old, promise them in marriage to some old man and then make sure they have babies the second they become fertile. That's what this means. So Allah is enforcing not only slavery of his men, women, but also the babies. The womb is a slave. That is what this means. A child who is in the womb, who has yet to breathe a single breath and hasn't been born yet, is promised, commended to the service of Allah and his Holy Jihad. So the conclusion of this, ladies, gents and Pikachus, is this. This is not a religion of peace. Muslims, listen to me. How do you think this is a religion of peace? Allah explicitly tells you, you have to command her in my ways, you have to follow my ways, you have to do my Quran of the Muslims, worship, and then robbing and pillaging, or you're dead and I'll kill you forever in sin and burn you with fire. When you find a Muslim woman, immediately marry her and start impregnating her, lie with her every night until she's pregnant. So just keep doing that forever. When she has a baby in the womb and you don't know whether it's going to be a son or a daughter, that child belongs to Allah, not you or your wife. It doesn't have any value. Until we know it's a man who can carry a sword, then it's got a tiny little bit. But the main thing we are being enlightened to here by the Quran of the Muslims and Allah's commands is this. Humanity doesn't matter to him. He doesn't care about humanity at all. All he cares about is keeping the Muslims under the thumb with no money, so that all they can do is mass produce babies for him to go and fight his holy jihad, which means your head, my head, everybody else who's not a non-believer's head must be cut off, otherwise they will be punished. Understand that. It's a crime for them not to come and kill us and mass produce babies in slavery like we just saw. It's a crime for them not to do that because Sharia is Allah's law and he will kill you if you don't do it. Off your head, you're dead. And that includes your 1 day old daughter. You know, they're all under the thumb of this. So in conclusion, religion of peace? I don't fucking think so. This is a religion of slavery, a religion of oppression and evil, and a religion of murderous genocidal war. And then a war after you die. Because remember, what's going to happen to you, O Muslims, after the end times is complete? You are going to be reborn as big, strong monsters with magical powers and great weaponry. The evil Jews and Christians, Satan's atheists and pagans are going to be reborn as tiny little pathetic weaklings that can't stick up for themselves. And then Allah, in his justice and mercy, is going to have you stomp the shit out of the other lot who have no chance to defend themselves. And that is what your afterlife is going to be. You're going to be heaped with gold that you cannot spend because the world has ended and there's nowhere to spend it. You're going to have 72 virgins which you don't need anymore because now you're a spirit, you're not going to have any babies. And you're not going to have any time to service the 72 virgins because you're going to be too busy murdering everyone for a second time even though you've killed them once already. That's the religion of peace, in Allah's own words. And that is why I do this series, to make you know these guys don't mean well for us. They're going to lie, they're going to propagandize, they're going to try and gain our attention and our aid and our support so that we don't see this coming, and we will see this coming. And that's the end of this video. So I hope you enjoyed that and you learnt something. I can't remember what time. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. I can't remember what time it is I did this, but I'll see you in the next one. Bye now. I forgot that it was evening. It must have been Allah. He was, mind controlling me. So if you don't want to be mind controlled, be back here at 7:15 tomorrow morning for the next episode of Without Lies, Islam Dies. And in the meantime, God bless, have a good evening, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now. Bye bye bye.